All right, well, fucking let's try this. This is so fucking stupid. So dumb. All right. Take two, right? I don't know. We will fucking find out, right? So I think what I will do is. Oh my fucking hell. You know, you try. You try. Okay, so I won't say certain fucking words. Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna say any fucking words. I think the problem is I have FAKENEWS in my fucking title. So I think that's getting me watched like by the automated artificial lack of intelligence. Um yeah, it's fucking bizarre. It's fucking bizarre. Anyway, I just wanted to really just kind of comment on the fact that uh the human nature of things, to take a situation that is just nature, it's just benign, right? So we had a situation where something was in a moderate zone, and while admittedly was spooky and disconcerting and also um, interrupting of my much needed sleep, was not a catastrophic event. But how quickly, within, I shit you not, 30 minutes, information was flowing that the BIG was on the way of a 9. And I'm like, come on. Come on. Come on. Backwards is funny. Really, that's I can't even comment on that because I know that's gonna get me fucking blopped. But I guess my problem is the lack of due diligence that the average people do before said issues occur. And that's always kind of interesting to me. Let's take, for example, your faucet. The average person will grow up with a faucet, flip that bitch on, and water will run. Water will flow, and nobody will trip on it. Whereas a small percentage of people, myself included, looks at that and asks questions that they feel are obvious questions. How the fuck does that work? Where is this shit coming from? How's it get here? Can somebody insert something into this and make it bad? You know, shit like that. And then ask further logical questions of, well, what happens if those people don't go to work and the shit fails or something else? Then where do we get our water? So then that leads to the next obvious question. Oh yeah, we back again, Bronx. Third time's a motherfucking charm, right? If this fails, I'm just going to jump over to Robert R. Rick's side and see if I get better luck there. But anyway, then an obvious question after, what happens if there's no water? Then you start to ask the obvious question, well, how long can I go without? And then you go down that rabbit hole and you go, holy fuck, that's some scary shit when you see what happens when somebody goes without water for a period of time, 2 days or whatever. So when something happens or has happened somewhere else, you would think logically, oh, look, in San Francisco, they had one of those trumble thingies, right? And because of that, you would think people would research it, especially in their areas that they live in to see what is the potential. And it is very clear. You can find it in a couple of Google searches that a 9.0 as opposed to a Mustang 5.0. Mustangs are great cars, by the way. Big, wonderful engines in the Mustang cars. Just in case algorithms trying to figure shit out. The likelihood of that is very remote. 2 locations, Alaska and Pacific Northwest. And the main reason the Pacific Northwest is because you have a particular zone there that has popped from time to time and is a usual suspect. And they already know from previous examples that, ground bounce. Yeah. They know that the ground bounces that happen there under the ocean are pretty powerful. Okay? Because we actually have lots and lots of data about that. What's also interesting to note is the ground bounces that preceded this one over on the West Coast was really well documented, and people had already seen that there was, that's right, the Nemo naming zone. That's right, we have to come up with all kinds of fucking stupid things, right? You got to watch out. Elder sibling is observing. Fuck. So stupid. So fucking dumb. Anyway, one of the biggest problems, and I was explaining, because immediately after this, after the ground bounce, moderate, nothing crazy. I mean, loose things like this tumbled, okay, but they didn't break. You know what I mean? But they shut things down. They disrupted something that was already in the middle of a massive disruption, making things, taking people's fears and elevating them even higher. To which I'm like, all right, come on now. And they showed, this is the thing that cracks me up. I know the spot that they use for their photographs. So if you guys have seen this photograph of rubble and stuff, there was already rubble in that area. They're right in the middle of demolishing this one spot next to this homeless shelter. And they've been doing just massive work there. Like they looked like, when I drove past it a few times a month ago, like they were sandblasting off all the paint. They were taking out certain sections. So the building itself was in pretty bad fucking shape. And what I found interesting was every fucking news article that I saw showed that building and a little pile of rubble in front of it, as if to say this was indicative of what is happening all across Utah. And I was like, are you fucking for real? And I'm just like shaking my head looking at this. Like every single fucking news article that I saw had that. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's not, like, we went out and hobbled around the front of my house, and there's a couple of spots where the stucco and then the wood, that's the side of the door there, where the stucco had been, sprayed and was in contact with that, there's a hairline crack there. I mean, that was the extent of it. I mean, it was so minuscule. And I was explaining to my kids, I said, the concrete is cracking and the foundation cracks. It's just, we sit on a big pit of fucking sand here in Utah, which is always constantly shifting and moving. And that, all of that combined with the normal wear and tear of your foundation, other stuff like that, you're going to get these little hairline cracks. This is part of it. But I'm looking at some of my neighbors. I guess they went outside, and these are all new houses, so I get it. This is a big monetary investment, so I get it. People are like, is this covered by warranty? And I'm like, it's a fucking ground bounce. No, it's probably not covered by warranty. You know what I mean? Oh, your fever broke. I'm so fucking happy. That's great. That's good news. Good. And it's the same thing with the urgent situation, the global urgent situation right now. I'm hearing so many things from so many people, and I was trying to explain to a good friend of mine. I said, the very first logical question you should ask whenever somebody says anything to you is, cite your source. Where do you get this information? Okay. And I am at the point now where if I was running the show, if I was a dictatorship and this was Robtopia, I would have a mandate that would be laid down that says if anybody disseminates information wide across the net and everything else, and they state something and they can't prove it as a factual fucking statement or have a quote from the person who is the authoritative figure, such as a doctor or whatever, that is willing to put their fucking reputation as well as their freedom on the line for saying certain things, then they shouldn't fucking say it. Speculation for people to take as a factual statement is a huge fucking problem. I'm going to tell you a nightmare scenario that I'm worried about. If you look up, I'm going to go military spelling on some of this. Igloo David, this current year. Okay. So Igloo David, this current year, research that, look that up, and look who's behind that. And then look at the person who stepped down Friday 13th from Windows Company. And then before this huge catastrophe, global catastrophe, go back to a training exercise that B&M Foundation did. I know I'm being cryptic. I apologize, but you guys are seeing what's happening. So you take those 3 bits of information and go, wow, isn't that interesting? Isn't that kind of an odd coinkydink? I don't deal in coincidences. I deal in conspiracies, and I have theories. So if all of this is a big, and I do mean big, sacrificial gesture to create the fear necessary to pass legislation that will mandate super medicine. I can't even say the other word that I want to say. It starts with the Victor, right? Mandatory victors. And you look at that Igloo David current year, and you tie those together, that'd be a real smooth way to get a maximum amount of coverage. And I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I said, the thing that makes Walking Dead so scary is the fact that everybody in Walking Dead is infected. And they never really explained, at least what I've seen, they've never really explained why that is the case. But I've been wondering for a long time about those pretty white lines that we see over our head all the time. And then I wonder about the 5th generation wireless technology. Oh, Yak, you finally found it? It's fucking funny, huh? It's fucking stupid. This thing is dumb. YouTube keeps changing all their shit. I don't understand it. But anyway, it forced me to use the new shit. So I'm using the new shit, and that probably also caused some fucking problems. But yeah. And I also found it interesting that they're mobilizing how do I say this one? Frankenstein, Elm Street, Mary, and Ashley. The guys who botched yeah, I know, JC. I know exactly. So JC's, I know exactly what you're talking about. But this not being able to use words is sad and ignorant. How we come to this point in America is even more depressing. It is because this is indicative of the fact of the thought police, the people that are monitoring and watching everything that we say and do. And if we don't march and sing along with their programming, then we are heavily punished. And but they'll make it look like they're technical snappers. You notice now, since we've been doing all of this wordplay, I haven't had problems. But I can almost guarantee you, the minute I start to use certain words, we're going to be problematic again. It really bothers me. It really does, because all I want to do is have a rational conversation where I say, this is scary to me, but not scary for the reasons that people are afraid of. You know what I mean? What is this? Just noticed something. Several wrenches are gone. Several wrenches of what? What are you referring to? So anyway, and I was telling the kids, I said, I'm not really worried about the ground bounces. I'm worried about people doing stupid shit because of the ground bounce. So before the global catastrophe that's unfolding right now, there we had the problem with the TP, and we had problems with water. So what? Would it be? Oh yeah, they are gone. Yep. I think the last time I did it, maybe it didn't stick or something. I don't know. Now I see what you're talking about. Mods, yeah. All right, Backwoods. You have a good night, brother. So anyway, I just wanted to. That was the thing I wanted to talk about, but actually, we can't really talk about it. My shut-in lifestyle has been scientifically validated. Exactly. No, it shouldn't be, but it could be the way that I did it earlier. Earlier, I had it in the chat window, and maybe the reason that. No, I did. You know what? Renee's, I did that the same way, so I don't know why. And I don't even have that chat window up in front of me now. I have this one. Let's see if this one will let me do it. Yeah, it won't let me do it. Not from this. I have the chat I'm looking at now is actually inside of what is this application called? Streamlabs OBS is what I'm using, and it's showing me the chat. So anyway, so yeah, the earthquake stuff. Oops, I said the word. Hopefully it won't fucking start acting stupid. The ground bound stuff, I was a little irritated about that, but at the same time, I was like, it was a good teaching moment for my kids to explain certain things to them, and also explain my methodology in the research that I do, and also to share with them the tools that I use when I'm researching. And so I showed that to them, and they're like, "Oh, okay." So they were bookmarking, and now they're a lot more educated on how this shit actually works. I know, right? Renee, it's like, it's max headroom time. You know what I'm saying? But it's just funny. I can sit and play video games all day and no fucking problems. The minute I try to have just a short conversation about something that's actually impactful and important for the vast majority of us, Nothing, right? It's really bad. Oh, the other thing I saw, and I'm really, I tried to explain this with my mom. My mom is an avid, um, she's an avid Democrat. She loves the Democratic Party, and she's a card carrying Democrat. Yeah, but she likes Bernie though. And I said, well, Bernie's not gonna make it. And this was earlier in the week or late last week. I can't remember exactly when. I said, they're gonna knock Bernie out of the box. They're gonna have Biden in there. She was like, yeah, but I really like Bernie. And I'm like, oh, well, it. And I think there's a lot to be said about that particular statement, right? I like him. I like him. So we're no longer judging based off of experience or knowledge or anything else. It's more based on if we like this person or we like how they represent something or whatever. And it's funny because I told her, I said, well, if you don't like, you're fired. Too bad, because short of him being taken out of the box in a very harsh manner, I'm not even going to say that A word, he's got it. There's just no way he's not going to win. And I said, there's a pattern here. It's RRDD, 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 RRDD. She's like, no, it's not. I go, really? Really? So if we go back to Billy Boy, or actually go before that, we have Bush Sr., then we had Billy Boy, right? Then we have Bush Jr., and then we had Obama, and then we have Trump. So I said, if you look at the pattern, it was RRDD, RRDD, RR, right? It's just a pattern. So, exactly, Renee. Anal. See, I can say anal sex, fuck, shit, damn, and I'll get demonetized, but it won't trip a circuit breaker. It won't be like, oh shit, this motherfucker is talking something that's, whatever. But anyway, I think what's going to be really interesting is this new book that I'm working on is going to just be conspiracy heavy. I mean, whoa. And it's going to be an interesting story. I've been working on it. I got 6 chapters in on it. I'm still going. I'll be working on it pretty much all night tonight and some other stuff. And then we'll just, I'm hoping that that's going to rock and roll pretty soon. But I just want to share with you guys because I can't believe the world we live in now that has become so pussy controlled. So I could say that. I could say pussy controlled. But if I try to say the other one, there's probably a very good chance that, yes, yak, that's what I'm talking about. Talking about that. I'm talking about Generation 5 to Generation 6. Yes. If you're dyslexic, Renee's is perfect. O2O2 die. O2O2 die. O2O2 die. Shit, I think we might. It's kind of crazy. But and you tie that into the stuff I was talking about with like in regards to yeah, we ask, beg for whatever what we ever get. Yeah, because so the situation is, so if you're smart, you don't force something on somebody. You create a problem to get them to beg you to do the thing that you wanted to force on them in the first place. And there's a term for it, but I don't want to even say that term because I'm sure by me saying that will draw unnecessary attention. Twilight Zone, To Serve Man, and the Series V. Oh, yeah. The V, yeah, exactly. So, yeah. So remember in V, the rain And the purpose of the rain? Yes. Yes. Exactly. Well, I'm pretty close right now. So, I'm going to say some things and let's see what happens. I'm just kind of curious. Um, okay, so here we go. Anal. Earthquake. COVID-19. ID 2020. Chemtrails. Zombies. Apocalypse. LARPs. 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 This is a LARP. Live action role playing series. FEMA. FEMA body bags, detainment camps, etc. Yeah, it seems like we're pretty good. Democrats, Republicans, Donald Trump. Let's really work it hard. Make America great again. Guns. Constitution. Freedom. Liberty. Okay. All right. I guess it went far enough in that they figured they showed up at my door. Sorry, brother, you're on your own. I'm out. Go run away real quick and shit. Like, oh fuck. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, I guess they figured, fuck, it's far enough into the stream. No normal person's gonna watch 27 fucking minutes, right? So maybe that's the key. You do 20 minutes of fucking blah 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 talk, and then all the way at the end, you can say whatever the fuck you want to say, right? Because they figure no one's gonna watch this shit now. So yeah. So anyway, since I'm on a roll, my big conspiracy is, what if we were already all infected with COVID-19 via chemtrails, and then we all already have the things that are susceptible to 5G, which will cause us to have the sickness and the symptoms and everything, so that everybody suddenly starts clamoring, saying, fuck, I need this, and then they give us this vaccination that comes out of nowhere, because vaccinations typically take 18 months to create, and then you need to test it. So we aren't normal 27 minutes in. Exactly. You guys are like the diehard. So we are all already infected, and as they use this technology, then they can isolate certain genomes and just take people out en masse that they view as undesirables. I've been doing spreadsheets where I've been looking at the differences between the different countries. And right now, I wonder if I can share this. Let me see if I can share this so you guys can see this. Let's see. How can I view this? Let's see. View. Oh, here we go. 100%. Oh, I think I can go like this. Go like this, and then go zoom to selection. Boom. Oh, yeah, that's going to work really well. Okay. So, check this out. I think this will work. Yes, this will work. Okay. All right. So what I have right here is these are the cases. This is the current fatalities, the current recovery rate, and these are the percentages. Okay. So if you look, US is sitting at 1.82% versus Iran's 6.11% fatality and Italy's 7.71% fatality rates, right? So South Korea is less than 1%. It's in at 0.97, but USA is at 1.82. So if we go up here, put 1.82 in here, and I'm going off of the 70% infection rate that they keep kind of talking about. And so this gives us this estimation right here, which is it's a scary number, but it's still 1.82%, right? Which is really small number. But then if you look at worldwide, that's close to 100 million people. That's a pretty respectable number. So anyway, as I was doing that kind of stuff, shots can introduce that ID 2020 talks about a bio tracker. It's a it's a system that they can use to basically track you. It's they're saying, oh, it's an ID, a foolproof ID system, so that nobody can spoof it and nobody can use it. It's unique to you only. And I'm like, yeah, but it also will give you the benefit of being able to track a motherfucker no matter where they're at. Also be able to track different things. Since it's in the body, you could track things like blood pressure. You could track things like chemical levels inside the body. So you'll be able to get a lot of information that should be private and just for the individual. So that is crazy to think that that could be something that could happen. And then I'm reminded of the mark of the beast, right? We've been hearing about that forever. And at first people are talking about implanted chips in the hand. But imagine this is like a bio agent that your body is considering a living thing. And it's in your body. You can't get it out because it's not necessarily, it's injected at the base of the neck, or it's injected into the heel or anything else. Like, this would be put into a vaccination, and then I would assume somehow the thing goes and bonds in the bloodstream somewhere in your body. Like, it just hooks in somewhere and just says, hey, I'm going to fucking hang out here or whatever and transmit data. And maybe it's a lot of them. Yeah, exactly. Hey, look. Exactly. The new season of Roswell aired tonight on CWFYI. Oh, cool. So, those are the things that I'm concerned about, because the reality is, here's the word I hate: mandatory. I hate that fucking word. Every year, my wife has to get a flu shot, and I get it because she works in the fucking ER, and I'm like, that's fine. And then she says, I'm going to get the kids flu shots. I'm like, knock yourself out. She goes, do you want a flu shot? Absolutely fucking not. And she's like, why? I said, do you realize the company that is behind the flu shot, Baxter, was caught red-handed releasing live avian flu in some of their vaccines and stuff that was going to go to 51 different countries. And it was only because a guy in shipping decided to do a sanity check and inject a fucking ferret or some shit with it, and the fucker dropped dead, and he sounded the alarm. If he hadn't caught that, there would have been a different pandemic going on, and everybody would have been like, oh, there was a clerical mistake or some shit, but it was because of Baxter. Nothing happened to them. No repercussion for their actions or anything. I trust these motherfuckers as far as I can throw them. So, no, I don't get flu shots. Ever. Period. I just don't do them. But if I get sick with the flu, okay, that was my bad. If that one particular prevalent strain was the one that they were trying to help me with, is the one that nails me. Because at any given time, you have 2 or 3 strains that are very, very, very strong on that particular season, and they do a gamble. They pick the best bet, and they work off of that. Well, I don't normally get sick, so I said, fuck it, I'm not going to do it. And that is the beautiful thing of it not being a mandatory vaccination. Now, my kids, as they were growing up, the schools mandated that they had to have certain vaccinations. I didn't say shit. I went and got the kids vaccinations. I'm not one of those anti-vaxxers. I see the benefit of certain things, and I'm like, okay, and this is inside the system, and people have to do it, and it's part of the thing. Okay, fine. But when something like this pops off, and you've got China saying that this was something that was weaponized by America saying vice versa to China, and China is being so elusive about their numbers and their data, and releasing sick patients early You know, it's just a lot of this feels very fabricated because there's a chick, I forget her name. She's a conservative YouTuber. Linda, no, Linda, Lisa something Haven, Lisa Haven, Linda Haven, something like that. Anyway, she had a thing that said, she had 400 something thousand subs, and she said, out of all my subscribers, who personally knows somebody who has it, right? Like if Vixen ends up with it, she'll be the only person that I personally know, that I can contact and say, hey, kiddo, how you feeling? How's it going? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And this is a whole lot of money being lost over this shit. I mean, the fucking March Madness alone, we're talking billions of dollars. Billions. You know? Hui Prez. Yeah, Lisa Haven. That's her name. Thank you. And this has, I hate to say it, this has all the telltale signs of a fucking false flag, right? The narrative keeps changing. We don't have the data. We can't see certain things. You know, there's a huge amount of media that is hyping this shit to a whole nother level, right? And the data just doesn't make any fucking sense. It just doesn't make sense. Now, obviously, as time goes on, people start to get more and more consistent. Like, I'm really depending on my wife. My wife works in the ER. I guess apparently, in the last 24 to 48 hours, she said they have their very first confirmed case of it in their ER. And I'm thinking to myself, holy shit. So we got all this shit, the whole thing shut down and everything else, and they have one confirmed fucking case so far in her fucking hospital. And she says, yeah, that was a person. I'm not going to get specific because I don't want to get in trouble, but it was a person that came from Washington. I won't say their profession or anything else, but they originated in Washington and they came over here. And we all understand that Washington is one of the hot zones, right? So it's, you have to ask yourself, yeah, exactly. Hard to have a mass shooting distraction when there is no mass, but I think it's bigger than that. I think it's bigger than that because, you know, the group that likes to leverage the mass shooting and everything else, you know, that's the Rothschild Illuminati group. That's the Hillary group. That's there. You know, the CFR, Council of Foreign Relations, Bilderberg Group, blah blah blah. You know, all of those cabal fuckers. Those are like the quote unquote deep state Rothschild Illuminati. And then you've got Trump's thing, which is either and I can't decide yet. I was saying for a long time that I thought he was in bed with the Chinese, and that there was a triad Illuminati that was backing him. But lately, I've been going more towards the Zionist, backed Israeli cabal. You know, they're scary. The Israelis and Mossad and everything else, like the motherfuckers are no joke. They are no joke. And I find it very interesting that the one group that is hit extremely, extremely hard, two groups, Italy and Iran. Italy, of course, being the Vatican stronghold, right? So it's a Vatican stronghold, and that whole power structure is just being kind of rocked right now because of what's happening there. And then, of course, Iran, that's a sworn enemy of Israel. So, you know, it's there could be a proxy war going on here, and it's kind of interesting. And I think during all of this, as things really get ratcheted to a certain point, because I just saw something about Trump having presidential powers, wartime powers right now. We already saw in Virginia, I think it was, they said, oh, well, we now have power to combat this. And now we're going to say, no guns, no this, no that. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So we're already seeing some of these groups flexing their muscles to do shit. Trump's smart, plays dumb, Zionist controlled. He may be dumb, but he made billions. Yeah, he has billions, but the dollars were shit. And if it continued to do a downward spiral, it would be worth nothing. He'd be a billionaire of zeros. So, of course, he's going to do whatever it takes to maintain that influence and that power. So, anyway, regardless of what anybody thinks about Trump or anything else, he's not part of the Rothschild Illuminati. Okay, that's my primary point. It wasn't to hit Trump, knock him, or anything else. It's just a fact. If Trump was part of the establishment, then the media would not be fucking just out for his blood at every single fucking every moment. Now it is $2,000 per adult that they want to put out. I'm like, that's a nice gesture, and it might help some people a little bit. It's not going to help everybody though. But what I find extremely interesting is I saw a meme that had me dying. I was laughing my ass off. It's like, oh, all you motherfuckers that hate Trump, you still gonna hate his ass when he gives you the $2,000? Are you gonna cash that? Are you gonna rip it up and say fuck Trump? So anyway, if the test comes back positive, I'm not letting them take center anyone in the house if the test comes back positive. I don't think at this point they're let's see, you're in Florida. I don't think I saw anything about them transporting people yet. They do have some zones. For example, they were saying if people here in Utah were getting it, they were going to move them to LA. To which I'm like, fuck you. You can kill me because I'm not going to fucking LA. If I get sick and they're like, oh, Mr. Ricks, you're coming with us. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not going there. You find something somewhere else, but I'm not going to fucking LA. That's just not gonna fucking happen. So it's just a we are definitely at a point in human history that is uncharted territory at this point. We are in uncharted waters. Like this, whatever this is right now, is being executed. And it is, in a lot of ways, I think this makes 9/11 look like a children, theater. This is so much better produced, more stronger, has everything to get the masses to do whatever the fuck you want them to do. This is fucking perfect. And the best part is, the body count is minuscule. It's fucking minuscule. I mean, what's the latest right now? The latest right fucking now is world deaths, 8,810. That is such a fucking small number. That is such a fucking small number. U.S., we now have 9,345 confirmed cases, which is funny to me because they're not really testing. So are these the people that are like really sick that are coming in that have problems and they're like, yeah, well, this fucker has a dry cough and this fucker has this and this has and a fever. So yes, we suspect. It's like, okay, but is a verified test that you guys are using? Like, that's my question. It's like, and nobody can give you the clean answer. Here's an interesting one. Israel has 433 cases, no deaths. Right? Let's see. Yeah, it looks like all of Africa is pretty cool. Africa just doesn't seem to have any problems right now. Sudan, Zambia, Congo, One case. Africa is like a little teeny tiny dots, right? Everywhere else is just blah 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 blah. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Like Russia, you see, like Russia has what 143, 447 confirmed, no deaths. So either A, they're not testing, or B, they just don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, this is yeah. See, what about all the fake tests they found in Cali they seized? Yeah, what if those were meant to be leveraged to? See, this is what I'm saying. In my heart of hearts, I think we're all infected. I think we all have the baseline stuff, whether it was something that they concocted with the diets that they gave us, the different foods, the different chemicals, the stuff that they spray in the air all the time. I think slowly but surely they found a way to infect all of us, right? And then all they have to do is just turn it on in different zones and watch people get sick, and boom, there it is. So I don't know. Could be just a crazy author in me, just with a really active imagination or whatnot, but I don't know. This definitely feels like a fucking very slick operation to get everybody to line up for a mandatory vaccination that is going to have more in it than whatever this is purportedly going to take care of. Because I don't know. It just seems really, really suspect to me. And I just saw something too. They said Advil makes it worse. If you have fevers with this particular shit and you're taking Advil as a thing to help break fever, it doesn't help. Right? Yeah, well look, Renee, look at what corn syrup to the bees did. These fucking farmers, these bee farmers were using this cheap bee food that had corn syrup and what's that shit called? Yeah, it's basically the sugar corn syrup, though. I can't remember the name of it, but it was, when it got hot, it was turning into a gas. And it was killing the fucking bees. It's like, I'm all for money. I love money. I love what I can do with money, with resources. But at the same time, we have a fucking obligation and responsibility to the planet to leave it in a better shape than what we found it for the next fucking generation. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the fuck? Like right now, I'll show you what a crackhead I am. This is what a crackhead I am. So if you look on Coca-Cola, right? There's an ingredient in Coca-Cola that is, where are you at? Phosphoric acid. Okay, so the phosphoric acid is what gives it the bite, the bite that we all love in soda. Pepsi, a little bit less, but also it has phosphoric acid. Basically, all the brown sodas have phosphoric acid. Now, phosphoric acid is a culprit in creating bone spurs. If I were to show you, and I'll find it, somebody remind me, I'll go find my x-rays to show you guys the bone spurs that I have coming off of my heel that loops up and stabs into my Achilles. So every so often I'll do something like, when all of this COVID-19 shit started happening, I went and we were getting water, we're getting all of our stuff kind of situated, and I was carrying a lot of weight. And there was one point where kind of was losing my balance and whatnot, and I stumbled and I did a and it flexed all my muscles and everything in my legs, and I just tore into my Achilles. And for a while now, my Achilles and my heel was just fucking hurting. But something happens when I'm limping where the bones on the top of my foot, they get really agitated and then they get swollen. Not the bones, but the areas around it. I get a lot of inflammation. And it feels like my foot is literally shattered. Like, I put weight on this left foot and it's like I just want to fall to the ground. It hurts so bad. I mean, that's why I'm walking around with a fucking cane right now. When I'm walking, I'm using the cane like a crutch. So I don't barely put any pressure on that foot. But anyway, it's because of the the fucking phosphoric acid. Even though I know this, and even I know shit like high fructose corn syrup is fucking poison, right? I will chug this shit like the fucker from Futurama and Slurge or whatever that shit was called. He was coming out of the alien's ass and he was still on the ground slurping it up. That's what a fucking addict I am. And you know, they say sugar, for example, is more addicting than cocaine. And, you know, we're surrounded by this shit every fucking where we go. So is it unthinkable? Is it unfathomable to think that they don't use a vector like fast food, the stuff that's cheap, tastes good, really quick to get, instant gratification, to use as a delivery mechanism to infect us with some shit? As we all know, the EPA doesn't do their fucking job. If the EPA did their fucking job, then companies like Kraft wouldn't have testing ingredients in their macaroni and cheese that haven't been approved by the EPA or no, FDA, Food and Drug Association. You know, although the shit that's inside of the stuff that the FDA should be looking at should be regulated by the EPA. But anyway, it's just you know, these are things that I am personally concerned about, that you can't have rational conversation with people because they go, that's fucking outlandish. That's crazy. Yeah, okay, it's crazy. But this is from the same government that would infect populations with different things just to see spreads of diseases and stuff. You know what I mean? So, or were fans of eugenics and would do things to certain ethnic groups because they were socially undesirables. This is what our government does. You know what I'm saying? Thicker acids formed by CO2. Oh, the carbon monoxide, the carbonation inside. Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm heavily. I mean, I am such a fucking crackhead. You know, when I had these dentures, and I had all the pain and I couldn't eat. You know, I was losing weight. If I had cut out the soda, I would be damn near emaciated right now because I barely eat. To this day, I barely eat what I once ate. But you know what? Peep this. This is one day. This is today. There's this guy. This guy. This guy. This guy. And this guy. Oh, I'm sorry. And this guy. This one's still full. I'm not done with it. That's the crackhead I am. So calorie wise, what is this? Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 times 140. That's 8. That's almost 1,000 calories. Just a fucking poison sugar water. That's the addict in me. You get what I'm saying? So anyway, it's just, well, fuck, I have no teeth. And so there you go. I had to have all my fucking teeth yanked out of my fucking mouth and my so yeah, even though I know all of this, does it mean I'm gonna stop drinking? Nope. I'm an addict. I know this. I can go to an AA meeting and say, hi, my name is Robert Ricks and I'm an addict. I drink fucking soda. And they'd laugh at me. They'd go, oh my God, you're addicted to soda? Oh, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they would laugh at you. Okay. You know, I'm addicted to cocaine, or I'm addicted to this, or I'm an alcoholic, or whatever. It's like, addiction is addiction. You could be addicted to soda. You could be addicted to sex. You could be addicted to fucking, I don't know, sniffing cat fur. I don't know. But addiction is you know, just something you can't really control, and you just need to do it. It's just something that you like. So anyway, just sharing with you motherfuckers, just talking about shit. But yeah, I don't know. This whole COVID-19 just reeks. It just fucking, it makes me sick to my stomach. Like, either it's really, really, really bad, and they're, you know, not being upfront with us, because, you know, they're talking about this shit going to July and August. This was what came out from the president, saying, well, they're telling me it could go all the way from July to August. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens, you know. So he's being cool man Luke about it. He's trying not to freak people out. But the minute he admitted that they had told him July to August, fucking market lost their fucking minds. They just, oh my God, sell. you know, and it's one of those things where I look at these fucking numbers and I go, okay, well, if 70% of the population and it's a 12-month period of time, and then the death estimates is in America, 4,165,980 people dead. I'm sure if we looked and we did enough due diligence and said how many old people are, you know, how many old people are in America, as an example, people over a certain demographic age group. And if those numbers line up, well, there you go. They're wiping out the older generation so they don't have to pay to support them. And the funny thing is, people are tripping on this whole Trump thing. Oh, yeah, we give $2,000 at one time. We'll give $2,000 one time. It's going to cost, billions of dollars or trillions of dollars, whatever it is. But really, if you stop and think about it, the support, the financial burden of medical support and things of that nature for people that are older, blah, 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 probably far exceed that. And so if you take them out, well, then now you've got a surplus of money that used to go to them. That's what I'm saying. This is insidious. This is something that seems to be very calculated and very well planned, And I like how there's scientists that come out, oh, this is not weaponized. We've researched this and blah, 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 and we've determined that this is not weaponized. So when I see that article, my first question is, who did this? Do they answer to the government for grant money? Blah, blah, blah. And, who asked them to write the paper, right? So, but, the average person is not going to ask that question. They're going to look at that document and say, hey, look, this is a naturally occurring thing. It's just Mother Nature. You can't blame anybody for Mother Nature. Yeah, 8,600. I think, the funny thing is there's people walking around asymptomatic that have next to no fucking symptoms. And I'm like, okay, that happens all of when? You know what I mean? When do we find in nature a virus that has 70% contagious rate, pass along, blah, 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 and people are not symptomatic at all? Like they might feel just a little peakish, but then they're okay, but they're infecting everybody. I don't know about you, that sounds fucking perfect to me. It sounds like a perfect vector to infect the masses. And they're like, oh yeah, very slow to move. And then some people say, no, very fast to move. And I'm like, okay, what is it? And what is the litmus test that we're basing this on? Like, what is the perfect example of a fast moving thing that historically has shown, it's worked? What is a historical bad example of something that they did was horrible? You know what I mean? It's just one of those things that I just I look at and I go, critical thinking is something that has been lost. And I get really frustrated because I have some really, 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 really fucking beautiful, smart friends. But some of my beautiful, smart friends don't have critical thinking. They're book smart, but they don't have the critical thinking. Or their worldview is such that if I give a counterpoint, they're so rigid in their belief system that they can't even speculate or consider it. You know what I mean? Like, no. And it's funny because then, oh, no way, Rob. No fucking way. And I'm like, dude, why are you getting upset? Why are you getting mad? We're just having a conversation, But I digress. Anyway, I just wanted to get in here and kind of have a video to make up for the one that I didn't get a chance to do on Sunday. I know it's not real-time story time, but it still is a video, and I wanted to do one because I knew Bronx had Wednesday evening off, and it probably ran a little later for him. But anyway, I wanted him to know that I said I was going to do some videos, and I did. So Anyway, guys, and I wanted to talk about that earthquake shit too, because that was funny as fuck to me. I was like, all these people running around saying 9.0 earthquake. I'm like, it's not possible, guys. It's not possible. And I was also hoping that while we're doing a video, I might be able to catch one, you know, because I thought that'd be cool to catch one. You guys watch all my shit shaking and stuff, but it didn't happen. It happened earlier when I was doing some stuff, but anyway. All right, guys. I'm gonna end it right here. Let's close fast infection, highly localized. This, slower, but MRE spread. Yeah, you know, this is. I mean, this has a potential. It does have potential, and I'm not, you know, trying to say that it doesn't exist. I'm just saying the whole scenario here is very suspect. Very suspect. All right, Bronx. There it is, my homie. All right, good. Just wanted to make sure. All right, guys. I care about you guys a lot. Stay safe. Keep your head on a swivel, and we'll keep making videos. I'm trying to do some more content and stuff like that, so that you know, anybody who's stuck at home, they're not bored out of their fucking mind. I got a ton of stuff. Like if you know, I'm lucky. My job lets me telecommute, so I get to work from home. Every day. So this is not even a big deal for me. But having the kids around all the time, that's kind of weird. But anyway. All right, guys. Be safe. And I'll see you motherfuckers next time. Lates.